My talk is going to be iPad Impact. I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that we've been doing. We have now pushed out to the whole of one level, the whole of Sec 2 level. So we have 13 classes. Something about our school, we've been quite good at getting some publicity, so that we've had a lot of articles in the newspapers, as you can see. I think some of you have actually seen me present before. My face has become the face of the iPad in my school. I will be giving you something different today, so it's a different speech to the one I've given before. Our students have changed. They are digital natives. They are adaptable. We aspire for them to be global citizens, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, problem solvers, effective communicators. So many things. We have to change as well. We have to change the way that we teach. The classroom of today is very different from the classroom that perhaps we went through. Many of these things were not around when we went to school. In Nanyang Girls High, we are basing our P21C² program on what we call 3 E's, 3 things that we want our students to achieve. One is we want to excite the student. That's the first E. We want the students to be excited about learning. Okay. This can be done in numerous ways with the iPad. For example, very obviously we can bring real-life connections and applications into the class. The iPad is very good for that. Or we can use the iPad for facilitating peer collaborations. Okay? Or we can maybe use it to facilitate differentiation in the classroom. The second E is engagement. Okay? We want the students to be engaged in a deeper learning, not just a superficial learning. Okay? We want them to be able to be constructing their own knowledge. Okay? We also want them to be metacognitive in their learning, thinking and reflecting about what it is they're studying, perhaps asking higher order questions, not just low order questions. The third E is empowerment. Okay? We want to empower the students by giving them maybe formative feedback during the lessons. Again, the iPad is very good at doing this. Okay. So let me share with you some of the lessons that we have. Okay, I'll start with my own topic, physics. Okay, I'm using physics in many ways in the lesson, so I'm using an iPad in many ways in my physics lesson. Let me start by just showing you a short video of some of those ways. My name is Shone. I'm a science teacher at Nanyang Girls High School. I'm going to talk to you about how the iPads, the one-to-one iPads, have been used in the lower secondary physics lessons. The internet has really opened up the boundaries to the classroom. Students can quickly look up information on the web, they can watch videos from YouTube. Access to the internet is an invaluable teaching tool. A simple way to make use of the internet in class is through the creation of a common starting point for the students. We use a Google website for this. Links from this starting page can lead to many class activities. We have links for websites, videos, as well as sections for the students to download their notes and to inform students of upcoming activities. In the past, a teacher would probably show a set of PowerPoint notes whilst the students follow the lesson filling in a worksheet. Now, however, we've combined these two into one single Keynote document that the students will download. With this set of Keynotes, the students are able to do a great many things. They are able to complete fill-in-the-blanks, answer questions, manipulate objects to allow for a more visual approach to learning, create animations to show that they have really understood a concept, add their own notes, watch video clips. Of course, being an iPad, we will use many apps. Some apps act as virtual experiments, not to replace real practicals, going to the lab is still required, but as an addition, perhaps to prepare them for a future lab session, or to do a dangerous experiment that could not be done in school. They can still practice many of their lab skills activities such as recording and observing. We have started putting some of our material onto iBooks. This is a fantastic way for the students to access their physics notes. Students are able to get so much more out of an iBook compared to a regular textbook. The iBook allows students to use questions to check their own understanding. It also has animations and video clips built in. These help to bring the everyday world into the classroom and add some excitement to the physics lessons. Okay, couldn't have said it better myself. You can tell this would be exciting lessons. Okay? Yes. Another example from physics, here you can see some students launching water rockets. Okay, to investigate Newton's law. You can tell some of the students actually are recording, like they're documenting what's going on using their iPad. But not only that, okay, you could have used the camera for that. Not just that, they're also using some of the apps built into the iPad to add on to this. They're using an app that allows motion tracking, so they can actually analyze the motion of the rockets. They're using yet another app, so they can actually measure the angle of the launch, inclination of the launch of the rocket. So they really are using the iPad in many, many ways. I'll share with you some of the other subjects, what's happening in other subjects. For example, humanities, they've taken it one step further using a learning trail. You can see in this video clip that the iPads are being used out of school. So this particular learning trail was an interdisciplinary learning trail organised by the Humanities Department. It's based around a heritage trail conducted in the Boki area. Not only are the students busy finding out about activities from the iPad, they are also using the device to collect data and record results. Additionally, due to the connectivity of the device, the iPad allows students to actually work in groups, to share data, as well as also contact will be maintained between the students and the teachers as they move around the trail. Okay. In this manner, the teacher can actually update the students as to what's going on. In biology, another science lesson, they are also using the iPad out of school. Okay. They have taken the iPad to the Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve. It's a fantastic piece of unspoiled wetland. Also, it happens to be covered by Wi-Fi, so the students can use connectivity there. The students, what are they doing? They actually have an app, okay, called Plants at NP. It's an interactive database. So the students are able to use this database to identify the plants that they find along the trail. But not only that, the database is actually interactive. The photographs they take, the measurements of plants they take actually get put back into the database. So they are helping to grow the database. So this is true, real-world, interactive learning. What about mathematics? Okay. Mathematics teachers have really taken to the idea of a flipped classroom. A flipped classroom is the idea where the traditional teacher talk and the traditional homework, questions done at home, those are swapped over. Okay, so the teacher will record a lesson, perhaps video themselves or record themselves, and the students will watch this at home. And then when the students come back into class, they are already prepared and they can go through the problems. The advantage, of course, is the teacher is there to assist them if they have difficulty with the problems. In this particular lesson, the students are working collaboratively, and you'll actually see they're using a program called Phosphorus to actually share. So they are sharing over the social network as well as presenting to the class. With you some of the things that we've been doing. Let me share also some questions, and they replied on a 1 to 5 scale. So obviously one aim of the P21C² program was to improve the in-depth learning that was taking place in the classroom. So it was good to see that the parents believe there is meaningful learning taking place with the iPad. Do the parents believe that their daughters can use the iPad in a responsible way? Well, we are aware that there will be distractions. Okay? And the parents are similarly aware that there can be distractions. That is why we are working very closely with parents to try and put them at ease. We have organized some workshops, okay, cyber wellness sessions. In fact, there's another one coming up later this month. So we will talk about things like how to put restrictions on the iPad.
We have reflection.
Until parents are totally comfortable with the technology, they will always be a little cautious. Okay, you will notice year on year there's a slight downtrend from 2011 to 2012. We're not very worried about that. It's really something to be expected. 2011, it was a brand new project, lots of excitement, so we expect a natural small dip. We did a similar survey for the students, and we received quite similar results. So the students themselves find the iPad makes their lessons more engaging. Okay. They also feel that they are learning more deeply too. In the area of taking lessons out of the classroom, engaging with the real world, our girls really feel that the iPads have helped the teachers to implement this. Similarly, the iPad has provided students with greater opportunities for collaboration. As with their parents, they also know that they can be distracted. So they are also aware that this is a concern for the students. Survey of questions, of course, is only one part of the survey we've done. It may be a little bit limited in the classroom. They would use a stopwatch to record the duration of each activity. In 2011, we were able to compare the pilot iPad classes against similar classes that were not using iPads. You can see the results here. In this first chart, we're breaking down the class time into different activities for both iPad and non-iPad classes. Firstly, this shows the teacher-centric activities. Teacher talk refers to explaining, giving instructions, and so on. A little bit surprising perhaps that teacher talk is increased with the use of the iPad, but we probably think that's maybe due to the teachers explaining how to use the iPad, explaining how to use apps. In fact, in 2012, that one drops down. When we look at the more student-centric activities that are occurring in the class, and in particular, if we group them all together, you can see actually with the iPad, the purple line at the bottom, the students are involved in somewhat more activities, student-centered activities. If we compare the results to 2012, a little bit different. As there's no longer a non-iPad class to compare against, we had to actually use the class as their own control group. That is, activities that were taking place in the class were recorded at times when the iPads were in their hands, and they were also recorded separately at times when they had put away their iPads. Moving again to the activities that are more student-centric, you will see again this year, when combined, it's fairly obvious that students with iPads actually spend considerably more time in class doing student-centric activities. It's fairly logical to assume that these activities will mean that the student is more engaged in the lesson. Another thing we looked at was higher-order thinking questions. Again, this data was all gathered by a researcher sitting back, tallying the questions that were asked by both students and teachers. And we can see in 2011, higher order questions were increased with the use of the iPad. Okay. Lastly, we realized that not everything that goes on in the classroom can be observed directly just by sitting in the classroom. Much of it now takes place online, what was happening. What we did was we actually looked at the posts that were happening online. So majority of online activities might be posting. We concentrated on one particular application, which was Edmodo, which is a very common. Hope you've learned a little bit about the impact that iPads have had at Nanyang Girls High, and a little bit of the research that we've done. Okay, if you want to find out more, please do feel free to stop me later in the day and have a chat. Thank you very much.